I'm pregnant and my real brother is the dad. Hey, I'm Ari, and my story is quite strange. It started when I was 2. My parents died in a terrible car accident, and with no other living relatives, my twin brother and I were sent into foster care. After spending just a couple of weeks in foster care, I was adopted into an extremely rich family while my brother stayed in foster care. My mom was a well-known and respected lawyer, while my dad was the CEO of a very successful company. Growing up, I had very loving parents, and unlike most adopted children, I didn't really care about my biological family and never tried to reach out or find my brother because I already felt complete as a family and didn't want to confuse myself by admitting to myself that I had a brother. So I pretty much ignored the fact that I was adopted, and I never told anyone that I was adopted, and it was believable since I had many of the same features of both my parents. In fact, when my mother was younger, she was a beautiful model, and since I looked exactly like my mother when she was my age, she encouraged me to start modeling. Since I was extremely pretty with my bright green eyes, dirty blonde hair, perfectly tan skin, and skinny curvy body, I was immediately taken in by a well-known fashion modeling company. During my first photo shoot, they paired me with a boy named Alex so we could act like siblings in the shoot. When I first saw him, I fell head over heels. He looked somewhat like me with green eyes, tan skin, and dark brown hair. He was the hottest boy I had ever seen in my life, and after the photo shoot, we began to talk. He asked me for my number, and obviously I gave it to him without hesitation. We began calling each other every single night, and we went on a couple dates together. After a while of talking, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and of course I said yes. After that, we grew extremely close, and Alex told me that he was adopted and knows nothing about his real parents because his adopted parents refused to tell him anything. I was too scared to tell him that I was adopted too, so I kept my mouth shut for months following that, as Alex and I grew closer. I thought my happiness would last forever with him. However, all good things come to an end. It happened while we were on a camping trip with all of our close friends. I was 16 years old and thought I was ready, and one night, I let my feelings get the best of me, and I did it with Alex. I didn't use protection, but it was one time, so I thought it wasn't a big deal. A couple of weeks after the camping trip, I began to feel nauseous all the time, and I told my best friend this, so jokingly we got a pregnancy test just in case I was pregnant, even though at the time I was 99.9% sure I was not pregnant. I peed on the test and waited 2 minutes. Then when I flipped the test over and it read positive, I was completely shocked. I began crying, and when my mother overheard the crying, she asked me what was wrong, and my best friend told her. My mom was really supportive about it and told me she was going to help me no matter what I wanted to do with the baby. And the next day, she drove me over to Alex's house to break the news to Alex and his parents. Alex's parents told me that it was not Alex's baby and demanded that I get a DNA test before Alex wasted his life on a baby that wasn't his, and Alex agreed with them. I was disgusted that Alex would say that, but at 10 weeks pregnant, I went to the doctors to take blood from the baby for the test, which was extremely painful and cost a fortune to do. After long weeks of waiting, the test came back, and the second I saw it, I freaked out. On the paper read that yes, indeed, the baby was Alex's baby. However, Alex and I are siblings and have the same biological parents, and the doctor called me that day to evaluate the whole situation and tell me about the risks of having this baby. But I already made a commitment to do whatever I can to raise this baby, even if the baby has some sort of disability. Then I went and told Alex everything, and he freaked out and told me he wants nothing to do with me or the baby. So all by myself, I have gone through 36 weeks of pregnancy, and I'm almost full term. The doctors have told me that so far the baby looks healthy, and that it's a baby girl who I'm planning to name Callie. But the most important thing to get out of this story is that even when life throws crazy curveballs at you, you have to overcome them and just keep moving.